The Backrooms. You've been here before. Level 224. Avalon. Survival difficulty. Class 1. Safe, secure, minimal entity count. Level 224 is the 225th level of the Backrooms. This level is a vacant mall, estimated to be 1 million square feet, about 92,903.04 square meters in size, spanning multiple floors. Description: Level 224, also known as Avelon, footnote, colloquially pronounced similar to the location of Arthurian legend, Avalon, end footnote, is a large mall, barren of any storefronts, signage, or functioning electricity. Though lacking artificial lighting, there appears to be a consistent day and night cycle visible through various skylines in the ceiling. Resources are abundant, albeit closely guarded, and it is safe to pass through or use as a resting point. The whole area consists of a first and second floor, lined with shop spaces, a food court, a central plaza, an elevator, and various staircases to connect both floors. While the level is mundane at face value, it is entirely inhabited by a flock of hyper-intelligent passerines. Footnote: what are commonly known as preaching birds, or songbirds, end footnote. Their civilization and intellect are comparable, if not equal, to that of humans, and they have formed a localized language among each other, both verbal and written. Those capable of speaking human languages, mainly the corvids, express the capacity for human speech in varying languages. Primarily, they speak English, with other languages having been picked up from wanderers who pass through. The whole building is maintained and guarded by the flock, with the storefronts converted into living spaces or communal areas to suit their needs. The birds are openly friendly with humans, though unwilling to allow them to stay for what is considered longer than necessary. Trade is encouraged by them, however, and they sustain their outpost through these interactions. However, if their kind is attacked or killed by an outside force, they will swarm and attack the perpetrator until the threat is neutralized. Preferred items for trade are precious metals, gems, mirrors, materials suitable as nesting supplies, ink, seeds, textiles, and miscellaneous materials suitable for tool creation. Shiny objects are especially coveted by the flock, and any sort of mirror is considered an item of high value. Medical supplies are also sought after, though not as heavily or in high quantities. Due to the civilized nature of the flock, the level is clean and kept to the best of their abilities. Food is generally produced via a farm, located in an area where light is easily accessible, with crops consisting of berry bushes, grasses, and plants bearing edible seeds. Shops and trading posts are primarily located within the food court, though other sale points are dotted throughout the level. This level is an excellent source for almond water, though trading with the flock is required to attain it. Because of its source being in strung-up inflatable fish above the food court, only the birds can access it. The anomalous properties of this fish supply them with a seemingly limitless amount, though it is still rationed regardless. Image caption: one of many fish producing their supply of almond water. The flock self-classifies as a coven, practicing in a neo-pagan fashion with the rituals and rites they perform, and headed by an archdruid. Their religion centers around an entity most often referred to as the Creator, though is alternatively called the Witness. Most covenant meetings are conducted in a sanctified location, located within a heavily guarded area of the level, with outsiders permitted to observe but not partake in rituals performed. Within the sanctorum, dubbed the Gates of Avalon, is an old mechanical structure resembling a portal of sorts. The structure is ultimately functionless, but serves as a sacred grounds and the surrounding point in which the Creator emerged to form the level before disappearing. This area is heavily guarded with no outsider access permitted, though the information provided has been gathered when it was readily given via inquiry. There is no substantial evidence as of yet to support the validity of these claims, though it is advised that these views are respected when in the domain of the flock. Closely tied to these practices is the cultivation of an anomalous mold, cultured and grown within their sanctorum. These are kept within a particularly dark portion of the level. It is treated as a primary source of nutrition, next to the farmed food for the flock, and acts as a suitable replacement for those with a typically arthropod-based diet. The fungus expresses lime bioluminescence, with important religious figures donning the colored mold on their feathers as a sign of devotion. While it is largely consumed by the flock, it provides minimal sustenance to humans and is not readily traded, existing but as a ghost in the autumnal haze of burning leaves. Lost but not gone, no longer tied to this plane. Dearest witness, see me in my fullest, and I sing praise. Hear us and know we haven't forgotten. Your work will not be taken in vain. All that we know is what you have given us. May our love be as boundless as your imagination. Everything bleeds, one way or another. Everything bleeds. Bases, outposts, and communities. The Avalonians / the Flock, primary community existing on level 224, also referred to as Avalonians, spelled with an E instead of an A, or AVs for short. Outside of their heightened intelligence, they are otherwise biologically identical to Front Room's birds. Exists within a theocratic society, with their chosen leader being a male Pica hudsonia, black-billed magpie, named Lorik, the Preened, a group of 4 humans residing within level 224 permanently, have assimilated themselves with the flock and its social system to the best of their abilities. All appear to have some sort of physical and/or mental disability. The consensus between them is that they were taken in willingly by the flock after clipping into this level with a survival disadvantage, and level 224 being one they had clipped into early on following their arrival in the Backrooms. One human is a child named Witness, the first human to be taken in by the flock. Their age is mostly speculation, but they are no more than 10. They are infected with the anomalous mold, which is present in their lungs. This doesn't seem to cause any harm to them, aside from mild coughing. Further questioning and health checkups revealed the mold to have formed a symbiotic relationship with them. This child is the source for which the flock first began to harvest and cultivate the mold. Because of its prominent presence in their system, Witness doesn't need anything more than water and darkness to sustain themselves. Despite being almost completely blind due to retinitis pigmentosa, footnote, a genetic disorder causing breakdown of the retina, end footnote, Witness can make their way around the level with ease. They are happy in their living situation, and any attempts to bring the child away from the flock will end in violence. Interview log 6/23/2021. Request access to log. Granted. Begin log 1836. Interviewer Meg Operative Theodore O'Leary. Interviewee Lorik Timebound, Archdruid of Avelon. Theodore: I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. Lorik: Of course. I find your interest in our culture refreshing. Theodore: So how long have you all been here? Lorik: Time is strange, especially in this dimension. You agree? Best answer I have is years. I'm not the first Archdruid for our coven. Theodore: What sort of religion do you all devote yourselves to, if you don't mind me asking? Lorik: That of the Creator. Witness is who created this our home. It created this place in its vision of what it believed to be paradise. Not my child, Witness, the original. Of course, nothing is perfect. It becomes perfect when you accept it for what it is. We devote ourselves to living our best lives and supporting each other, just as Witness wanted. Everything you see around us is just what it wanted. Oh, and the shiny things. Theodore: What happened to the original Witness? Lorik: It left. Couldn't stay. Was merely a fragment of another reality that sought solace. Even still, we were gifted the child. They looked just like it. That is to say, in a human form. They're not the same color, nor do they possess the same number of eyes or limbs. But, in the face, yes, they brought the mold with them. I personally see that they are raised, educated, and loved. My husband and I have adopted them, and while they won't take my place as the leader, I couldn't ask for a better child. You asked me if I wanted kids before meeting them. I would have spat. Theodore: How old are they? Lorik: We think 10. They don't know either. Theodore: I would also like to say that we appreciate your hospitality on behalf of all who pass through here. It's a nice change of pace from other levels. Lorik, you're welcome. The trading has been nice. I'm sure you understand why we don't leave this place. More than just that doing so would be sacrilege. It's dangerous out there. Too dangerous. Humans are foolish, but brave. Fortune smiles on your kind. I can only imagine what you've seen out there. Nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. Now, I do have matters to attend to. You take care, Wanderer. End log, 1908. Summary. Standings with the flock and the Meg are primarily positive. This status is preferred to be maintained. Because of this, it is required that all who visit respect their views. Further understanding of their level's nature and the fundamentals of its existence will be looked into as to potentially learn how some levels may manifest. Incident Report 4/11/2020. Time 16:04. Location Level 224. Begin report. 2 Meg operatives and 3 miscellaneous wanderers were present on level 224 at the time of the incident. Accounts from the 5 people are consistent with each other and detail the events that transpired. The situation was typical up until a 6th wanderer entered the level. Shortly after entering the main plaza, the wanderer began preaching about the word of Jerry. Within seconds, a group of shrieks, starlings, and cardinals descended upon the victim before beginning to peck and claw at his skin. Unable to properly fend himself from the onslaught, the victim's eyes, fingers, tongue, nose, and throat were gouged out. Following his incapacitation, the group left the body to clean themselves of the blood. Shortly after, the man died from blood loss, with the flock chanting "Heresy" for roughly 2 hours following the incident. Summary. Those visiting level 224 are strongly advised to refrain from mentioning anything of Entity 7. When questioned about the violent reaction from the flock, many responded about their malice held for Entity 7 and, quote, the sacrilege of its mere existence, end quote. Discovery. Avelon was discovered following the entrapment of a group of wanderers in an instance of Entity 81. Elevators. They exited an elevator into level 224, subsequently being introduced to its residents. The group was able to return to a Meg base to report their findings, following a brief reprise with the flock. Entrances and exits. Entrances. Accessible via any known elevators or instances of Entity 81, though whether or not you'll end up in level 224 is completely random. Exits. Leaving via the elevator will return you to any floor containing one. Alternatively, the front doors will lead out of the level and have been documented to drop wanderers off in various levels. These primarily include Level 35, an empty car park, Level 155, the Sparkling Maze, and Level 102, Kanashimi, among others. I've been through hell and come out singing. Embrace your faults, know how we differ. Though born into its ideal heaven, we are far from utopia. Come together, O coven of feathers. We shall find solace in this place we call home. This is a gift from it to us, for we are many. Let us learn to love and thrive.